When it comes to Chandor, there is a very interesting fun fact. Now, tradition has it that in one particular year, the Chandor cars were not able to find a horse for the procession, and instead they opted for buffaloes. And as the procession proceeded, it is believed that these buffaloes spotted a water body or a pond, probably on the sides of the road. And with the king sitting on it, the buffalo proceeds or gushes down into the pond. So from that time, a tradition says that the villages of Chandor were referred to as redes or buffaloes. So this is a fun fact that is about the association of the nickname of the Chandor cars with the feast. Hi, a very good day to one and all. This is Fraser here today in Chandor. Right behind me is the chapel of Nossa Senhora de Piedade, and we are here on the 6th of January, that is the feast of the Epiphany, celebrated throughout the world, no doubt. But interestingly, in Goa, though it is celebrated across all parishes in the state, only three locations where this feast is enacted. Now, why possibly only three locations? This is not documented anywhere, but however, a personal opinion from me is that what I have observed through the years is that to celebrate this feast, you require two prerequisites, two requirements basically that have to be met so as to enact this feast. The first requirement is that of a month, that is a hill where the procession would proceed, and the second requirement is that of the Kshatriya community. Now, why the Kshatriya community is because of the horses that are associated with the procession, and it would be generally the Kshatriyas, that is the warrior class community, that would own these horses. So hence, wherever you have the month and the Kshatriya community, you have this feast being enacted. These three places being Chandor, the second being Cansaulim in the south of Goa, and finally you have Verem, that is Reis Magos as it is known as. These three locations are the only spaces where this feast is being enacted. Look at several other locations. Just have a look at Margaon, Benauli, Kurtori. These places also have a month, but they don't have a prominent number of Kshatriya families in that area, and hence this feast is not enacted in these places, even though they have one of these requirements, which is a hill. So this is a personal opinion, however it might be different. This is what I have observed and I thought of putting across. Now, coming to Chandor, to mention to you, there is an interesting story of how this feast used to be celebrated earlier. Today, this feast in Chandor is no longer restricted only to the Kshatriya community, because it is open to different sections of society as on date. As far as the celebration of the Three Kings feast in Chandor is concerned, traditionally the procession of the Three Kings would begin from the house of the Antauns in Chandor, which is situated just besides the Casa Braganza, and from here it would proceed to the church. Unlike today, where you see the procession beginning at the chapel of Nossa Senhora de Piedade, situated on the Mont in Chandor. Traditionally, each of the kings would be from each of the three parts of Chandor, that is, one from Kota, one from Kavori, and one from Girdoli. So all these three young boys would assemble at the Antau house in Chandor, and from here they would dress up at probably at the family oratory of the Antau house, and then they would be made to sit onto their respective horses, and from there the procession would proceed towards the church in Chandor. Let us now speak with Mr. Avin Antau, one of the descendants of the Casa Antau in Chandor, and get to understand what he has to say about the celebration that would once at one point of time begin at his very residence in Chandor.
I'm Ravinatha from Kulsabar, Chandor, and my house is very close to the Chandor church. Now this church is celebrating every year the 6th January feast of Our Lady of Bethlehem, or we call it as the Three Kings Feast. And our family was very much associated with this feast because I remember my elders telling me that the kings were dressed in this house and they were taken on horseback to the church. I also used to find that there were many trunks having the vestments of these three kings. And I also learned that my aunt, they used to dress up these three kings, and from our house they used to go for the feast mass. Now as it happened, maybe because my great-grandfather was a doctor, John Town, I'm ascendant from that family. And there were horses because he used to go on horse ride to the nearby villages being a doctor. And also we had another cousin, about 3 kilometers away, who was also a military doctor having horses. So maybe those horses were used for the feast to carry the three kings.
हाँ कहीं घरों opposite mungkin bawa rasa, real ni sofa chen, di mudo ko jadi sofa chen, tak kalau petani, anteng kalau sangi plant dekwan lagi, wasa ek party tak mudo ko, itu masih Kingston, mungkin luiza le awalnya, kono maka hobora yang masih Kingston mungkin gelem. Muchos son más de muchos bulan apa morat que igual
आणि मुंतीर केदो सो कॉमेस जालते तुक बरी खबर ना
ना
पण मुंतीर कॉमेस दासनो पहिले पुरसा दोंगरार जायनासले फकत अंता घरा कसो इगर्ज कडे डायरेक्ट. So interestingly also another fact is that as of date the umbrellas that you see used in the procession have been provided by the church, but traditionally these umbrellas came only from one particular house that is situated in Kota in Chandor, that is none other than the Casa Fernandes. So the Verem, as we all know it, or the Casa Grande that is situated in Kota, used to provide with these umbrellas for the procession. However, as of date, these umbrellas come from the church and are no longer offered by the Fernandes family of Kota. Let us get into a discussion with one of the residents of the Casa Grande in Kota, Mr. Ranjiv Fernandes, and understand what he has to say about this dead tradition where his very own house was associated strongly with the feast in terms of providing with the umbrellas used by the three kings in the procession that led to the church.
To introduce myself, I'm Ranjiv Fernandes from Chandor, the old house of Casa Grande Verem, which is in Kota, Chandor. This umbrellas we use for the Three Kings feast, which every year on the 6th of January comes.
This umbrella was made in the 90s.
Yeah. Over the period of time, the velvet goes grey. It's not the quality of...
So that means till the 90s, the house used to supply the umbrellas to the church.
Before that we had the other type of velvet. Like the old velvet. The old velvet gave way. And then we had to put another...
So velvet. This was made in the 90s?
Yeah, 90s.
Okay. Yeah. Early 90s.
Early 90s.
After the high mass in Chandor, a brass band accompanies the family of each of the three kings back to their homes. And on reaching home, they have a short prayer in the prayer room of their house, followed by which is a family function that is conducted.